For me, this part of the genesis of this project was a project that I ran for, it's still a kind of ongoing but on hiatus, called the Recycle Collective, which was an evening that gradually formed into a fairly set format of being 3 musicians who, across 3 sets, each played solo, all the possible duo combinations, and then 3 trios. And this was one of those lineups. Patrick and I were talking about, we'd already played together on that and on other situations. And we were talking about doing it with a drummer, because I tend to avoid drummers. As a general rule, I don't like drummers. But the idea that they have a volume control that goes from loud to very loud, I find immensely frustrating. But we both had a sense that what we did would work really well with a sensitive drummer. And when we talked about it, we had a short list of 1. and I said, how about Roy Dodds? And Patrick's eyes lit up and he went, Roy Dodds? What a fantastic idea. And we kind of, we were initially thinking, well, will he do it? Will he be busy? Because Roy's probably, in terms of sort of going out and playing shows, Roy's definitely the busiest of the 3 of us. He's massively in demand in the kind of singer-songwriter world, but does these regular forays into kind of jazz and improvised and experimental music, but brings with him that kind of songwritery sensibility, which is kind of, I think, what Patrick and I were both drawn to in Roy's playing. We're just going to do it, because we are the Roy fan club. We're both very big fans of what
my 2 fans.
In the same way that for me with the Keith Jarrett trio, the magic of it is Jack DeJohnette. It's actually the space that he creates for the other 2 to play. That I think in this band, Roy kind of brings that element to it. That it's what ties it down and makes it sound like songs, not kind of rambling, spacey, kind of trippy improv. That actually what makes it have a kind of compositional feel to it when we're playing live is what Roy brings to it. Because I never know from one gig to the next whether it's going to have this kind of mad drum and bass feel, or be very rocky, or be very kind of spatial and soundtrackish. And I mean, do you think about that stuff before you play, or is it just in the moment that's how it feels?
I think it's there's a lot of things. I think basically listening to what you're doing and what Patrick's doing is the biggest thing, but also maybe what's been happening that day, what I've been listening to before the gig. I might have been listening to some music, and I might be thinking about that, and that might be an influence as well. And so there's all sorts of things, but basically listening to what you're doing and trying to make. And I think the thing about working as a trio is interesting, because it's almost a sort of, it's that triangle thing. It's sort of almost a perfect thing where
no, I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
There's not, there's just enough and not too much to make the thing work, whereas if maybe there was a 4th element, which there is on some of our recordings, and that also, that gig we did at Greenbelt was very interesting, because Lobelia came and sang with us, and I thought that was very special, what she added to the music, and how we responded to that, I thought was very interesting.
We do often need a 4th person.
And I think it's very interesting adding a 4th person, but as a basic thing, the 3 of us seems to work really well. We all know how to work with each other intuitively, because I'd never played with either of you. Well, I think I'd done a gig with you once at the 6. You sat in on
on one song.
One song. So I sort of knew a little bit what you're about, but that particular first gig we did was just a sort of amazing experience for me, and working with Patrick, the sort of. And suddenly we were making compositions out of nowhere, and I felt, okay, here comes the middle 8, here comes the chorus, here comes the bridge, here comes the end, here comes the bit where we don't know what's happening, and it all seemed to have structure immediately for me anyway. And that's how my role as playing the drums is to make structures out of what's going on, really. That's
great.
Make it a song, even though it's maybe instrumental, it's still a song for me.